Hello, the focus of this video is going to be on buttons, so buttoning and unbuttoning. This is a good skill for our preschool age kids, 3 and 4, but it's also good for our older kids depending on ability, and we can make it more challenging in different ways. First, I'm going to start out with some activities that we can do to prep for buttoning, so to work on some of those skills and get ready for the actual task of buttoning. One thing we can do is grab some Play-Doh, and then also some coins. So I'm going to grab a few coins out of here. There's a nickel. And what we can do is we can grab a few at home, maybe think more around 10 to 20. I'm just going to grab a few for an example, and we can practice pushing them in. So that similar pinch that we would use to push a button through a hole. So we're going to work on strengthening that motion and pushing in. That is one activity we can do to prep. And another thing is pulling them out. So it's another great manipulation activity for the fingers. Pulling them out. All right. Another fun way we can prep for buttoning is taking some aluminum foil and wrapping a toy into it. So I've already pre-wrapped this. And as you can see, it takes a lot of little finger movements and pulling it out. So I have my little frog here. You can add lots of layers. So I only added one layer, but you can add a few layers. You can wrap it tighter or looser depending on what level of challenge you need. And another fun activity that I'm going to attach a link to is unwrapping candies. So there's a recipe that you may be familiar with, unwrapping Hershey's Kisses. Then you melt them on pretzels with an M&M in the oven. So it's an easy one to do, and your younger kids can help you with all the unwrapping. It's a lot of unwrapping and lots of good small fine motor coordination. Now moving on to the actual buttons. You can scavenge around your house and see what size of buttons you have. I have some small and large ones here. I'm going to bring out my large buttons. So probably my largest buttons is this coat. With our young kids, as we're just learning, we're not going to worry so much about if we're misaligned, but just being able to get a few of these buttons is really our goal. So one of my favorite cues for kids to remind them of is my little phrase, peekaboo, then push it through. It works for both buttoning and unbuttoning. So let's first try it with unbuttoning actually, because unbuttoning is where we want to start before we button, because it's a little easier. Whoa, now I'm struggling. All right, so here I have my buttoned button. Peekaboo is pulling it out. So I open up my hole so I can see it. So peekaboo, then push it through. It'll take some repetition. You will want to model it for your child a few times. And then if they're really struggling with this piece, you can do the first step for them. So peekaboo, start it, then have them push it through the other way, and gradually until they can do it themselves. Buttoning, same thing. So peekaboo is finding your hole, getting it ready. Push it through is both a push and then also really a pull on the other side. And then you have it buttoned. Once this gets mastered on larger buttons, you can move on to small buttons. And for our older kids that don't quite have this down, but have some good skills, small buttons are a great option. And then once we're done practicing off body, having on yourself and buttoning. That adds a whole new layer because we have to rely a little bit more on our touch and less on our vision to see what we're doing. So for older kids, repetitions with buttons actually on. For our younger kids, we'll want to start learning it when the buttons are off. So those are some ideas. I hope you have fun with those.